Hello, hello. I'm the Chris who plays games, and I just realized that maybe I don't have my hat. No, it's in my bag. I'll find it later. Um, in any case, I'm the Chris who plays games, and welcome to a late night CPG here at a time that would normally be 3 in the morning Boston time. Hello, Matzo Gaming and Wolf Gamer and Eric the Cookie Baker. Welcome. Doing a little bit of a wrap up of VidCon Day 1 here in Anaheim in this late night stream as I wander down the street back towards my Airbnb. We've got. So VidCon Day 1 was today. Today that was the first day of the conference, and so sessions, panels, etc. I went to a couple different panels, some of which were more useful than others. I went to some on the industry track, some on the creator track, some in all of the tracks. So overall, things that I did, I went to the panel on I Love My MCN, which I had previously referred to as Stockholm Syndrome, the panel. I think that, overall it was less Stockholm Syndrome and more not love. So the presentation included a bunch of people talking about how they have gotten benefits out of their MCNs, which is all well and good. But getting a benefit out of your MCN is not the same as loving it. So they talked about how you should, negotiate contracts, get a lawyer to read over them, other things like that that are really good advice. I think are really strong, things that people should do, but not generally things that I associate with a love relationship. I think that, they spoke about the benefits that you can get from having someone bigger negotiate for you and your ability to kind of pull that out. I am using a gimbal, yeah. And so the next panel I went to was on hacking the YouTube algorithm. So TubeFilter has a TubeFilter. Yeah, TubeFilter has a blog entry up now about how to get how the algorithm they perceive to work. I found the entire presentation to be a whole lot of correlation without causation stories. So someone used a bunch of data, and yeah, it was a bunch of data. It was 70,000 videos and 6,000 channels and everything else like that. But it was a bunch of data without ever trying to eliminate, correlated factors. And so the whole presentation was like, oh, look, if you take this variable in isolation, it does better. So, if your videos are 7 to 16 minutes long, then they're going to do better. It's like, yeah, but everybody produces, the good videos are all 7 to 13 minutes long, so that doesn't really feel like it counts. So overall, I did not find that that was a compelling presentation. I then went to production on a budget. And I thought that was actually very interesting. One of the things that I think is not surprising, but was really interesting from that was that pre-production is a huge source of avoided loss of costs. So by planning ahead and making sure everyone's on the same page and everything else like that, you can waste way less time shooting. Pre-scouting locations, for example, can save you a ton of time and money when you find out that the location that you've picked out to do your shoot at happens to be underneath an airport, and therefore is constantly got airplanes flying overhead or other things like that. So that would not be, it would be kind of unfortunate that. Take care, Matzo. So one of the things I'm looking forward to tomorrow is actually the Search and Discovery panel from the Search and Discovery team on YouTube, which I think will be much more interesting than anything else. Hey, Card, how's it going? So there's a Search and Discovery panel being done at 5 p.m. tomorrow by the team on YouTube, and I think that's really interesting. Hello. So that's the biggest thing I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm looking forward to that. The other thing I saw today, the Susan's keynote was today, or the YouTube industry. It's previously been the industry keynote, and it was hosted by Rhett and Link this time. As they had Susan come out, and then the leader of YouTube Red Originals come out, and then they had Swoozy come out, who's doing a new YouTube Red Original called Lace Up. Where it's going to be like a reality TV show competition hosted at Pencil, a sneaker company in Oregon, and it's going to be like Top Chef style elimination rounds of sneaker design, which is actually a really cool, I'm a big reality TV show fan. We've talked about that in my live streams before, and so I'm actually looking forward to this show because I want to see YouTube's take on a reality TV show. So there was that. But yeah, and so YouTube announced like VR 180, which is this new form of VR that's only recorded in the front. So you get like, it's really, really well, it's really targeted at VR for people who are sitting watching in a desk chair, right? So sitting watching in a desk chair, you get a very different need for VR. You don't have the need for a full 360 view, because like the 360 view is unnecessary when you're only going to be looking forward. And they announced that everyone with more than 100 subs is now eligible to use mobile live streaming like I'm using now, and that they have 1.5 billion monthly logged in users. This isn't a number that they've published before. So that's kind of cool to know, like, hey, that's out there. YouTube has 1.5 billion logged in users, so that's like logged in accounts, not accounting for anyone who uses YouTube not logged in. Of course, the reason that you can't count those is obviously if they're not logged in, it's kind of hard to count them. And so yeah, so that was interesting to know and see. Some of which, of course, I work at YouTube, I knew, but it's nice that I can now talk about it. So there was that. I went to another Hacking the Algorithm talk with Derrel this like later in the evening. I do appeal for logins, that's true. Matus is referring to the fact that I stole his computer to write messages in someone else's chat. Yeah, so Derrel Hughes, I mean, he's been doing like algorithm hacking stuff on YouTube for a long time. I, again, don't find his comments always to be super actionable, but at least some of what he said was reasonable. He's talking about how playlists don't make playlists with spammy titles and tags and descriptions, because YouTube will give you a community guideline strike for them, which is absolutely true. But he also is like, in the first 24 hours, your video is going to get its most views, and then after 7 days, it's going to have another drop in suggested views. And it's like, yeah, but what are you supposed to do with that? Like, even if you know that fact, how does that change anything? And so you get these people who are like, oh, like, I'm so glad that they didn't just tell us to make better content. Like, that's silly, because that's ridiculous. We can't do that. And so you hear these creators who are like, oh, look at all this actionable data. It's like, you're talking about a bunch of correlations. Like, trying to target these metrics isn't going to help you make better content. So that was personally disappointing, but I'm hoping that the one from the presentation tomorrow at 5 p.m. will be better at, actually giving people the right information. Yeah, no problem, Chris. And hello, Fernando. So yeah, so that was that. What else? I think that might have been almost it. There was one other talk that I wanted to go to about using video tools to accelerate your video production, but I did not, unfortunately, get a chance to get there. For the rest of the night, it's 1 a.m. I'm walking back to my Airbnb now, and specifically, I'm walking rather than taking a $5 Uber, specifically so I can do this live stream before I go to bed. So I'm gonna write one more. I'm probably gonna write one more CPG Vidcon note. Pull out a couple of the interesting panels. Oh, Brother Bobby, are you here? I didn't realize that. Did I see you? And I just don't know. There's so many people I've met. I feel so bad. Like, some people, like a lot of people I recognize, but then there's like a few people that I don't recognize, and I feel super bad because I'm like, I don't know if I don't recognize you because I haven't met you. Like, I saw Professor Pi, and I was like, Professor Pi, well, actually, what I said was, I don't know who you are. And I'm like, I know I've seen your face. I saw you at the streamer house last year, but I don't, like, have, anything. I just don't know who you are. Like, please help. He's like, no, it's all right, Professor Pi. I'm like, oh, okay. So that was, yeah. Yeah, so I just don't know. I don't know anybody anymore. That sounds good. I might have left my hat at the Matus house. So Matus, if you see my hat lying around, feel free to let me know. It might also be in my backpack, but I don't remember putting it in there. So it might have been I also left it back at the house. But yeah, so overall, VidCon's been good. I did do a quick live stream earlier with a friend who I met. I organized the IHOP breakfast this morning. I got there a little bit late and didn't get to see the beginning of the first presentation I wanted to. But like I said, that was the Stockholm Syndrome. Take care, Fernando. That was the Stockholm Syndrome panel. I love my MCN, and I felt like I got most of what I was going to get from it. I was wearing it when I came back from dropping just off. Okay. So that's good. It means I didn't leave it in the Uber or something. It means it is in the house somewhere. No, there's no breakfast tomorrow. My basic expectation was I can only expect people to actually get up at 7 in the morning once a week. Anything more than that is too much. Even that is too much. Hello, Isaac Flores Rodriguez and Dick Butt. And so, yeah. Oh, and then there was an industry mixer at the end of the night, so free drinks, which I'll never turn down. Thank you. I appreciate it, Matus. And so yeah, so there's an industry mixer at the end of the night, and I actually got to meet a bunch of cool people. So I met a guy who is working on a dating service that is working on integrating live streaming. So one-to-many live streaming integrated into your dating service for social discovery. I met someone who is like a VP of like content operations at the LA Times. I met the executive director of the industry track at Vidcon, which is, all these things are kind of cool. And then of course, because I'm wearing my Noogler hat, like every YouTuber on the floor at this mixer is like, oh, like come talk to me. I'm like, why are all you YouTube employees standing in a group when you are surrounded by 150 creators? I'm not drunk. So here's the thing, Snapclick Cat. When you have to say you're not drunk, it usually means you are. Yeah, I know One Shot Girl. I actually saw her earlier today when we were at the creator keynote, or the like keynote. Susan's keynote. But yeah, so I know her. Hello, Gar. How's it going? Yeah. So overall, best thing about the first day, I don't know. First day for me was a lot of just kind of like getting my bearings, getting everything done. It's always interesting to me to like see these talks about things that I'm like, no, that's not how what things work. Gar, I don't get invited to the YouTube party. That is for people who matter. I am not a people who matter. So I know Barb and Stat and One Shot Girl and Game Dojo and other people like that were at the party. So the only party I've gotten invited to is the one tomorrow that I'm not going to. Yeah. I don't know. It was a good day, but I didn't get a lot of new things. Yeah, the YTG one. Corky Dancer, yeah, so I saw Corky Dancer and One Shot Girl at breakfast this morning. No, yeah, the engineering teams don't get invites to those events. So a lot of this today was kind of making the social connections, meeting up with people, the IHOP breakfast and everything else like that. I did not feel as comfortable with panels, like feeling like I go into panels and I have time in between them, partially because I was rushing back and forth between the creator track and the industry track all day, and they run on different schedules. So if you're trying to see something like in the industry track, it means you leave like 15 minutes before the end of a thing. So did I see Game Dojo? Yeah, Game Dojo was also at breakfast. So if you check my stream from earlier today, you can actually see all the people I saw at IHOP this morning. So that was M0 and Game Dojo and, I mean, like everybody pretty much. So Stat, Game Dojo, One Shot Girl, Corky Dancer, Matus and everybody else like that. The only people I didn't see this morning, I feel like, is like Lucifer, I guess Brother Bobby, who I didn't know was here, and other things like that. I saw Poke Cat, I saw Lady Kitty Unicorn. So we have a whole kit and caboodle of people. Yeah, so we had I reserved for 35, and then a bunch of them didn't come, and then a bunch of them did come, so I saw Jay Kraken, I guess I saw Rubsy, although I didn't know it at the time. Met Lalo, who I have basically not talked to again since, so hopefully I'll get a chance to hang out with him a little bit more before he leaves. I know some people are coming in tomorrow. Mike Yale, the gamer, and gaming lawyer are both planning on being around. You'll be there next year. I look forward to it, Card. hopefully I'll be here next year. It's a lot easier to come when your employer pays for it, obviously. Yeah, so for me, yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how long I'll still be streaming for, and if I lose my job at Google for some reason, then I probably wouldn't be here, so. Oh, Snap Click Cat, you're always grumpy when you're drunk. It's not a big deal, don't worry about it. Anyway, so yeah, this is kind of a summary of VidCon 2017 day one for me. I saw a couple of the industry panels, a couple of creator panels, nothing big, but the biggest thing I learned is just like the importance of pre-production and other things like that in saving money. That's me. Will I stream tomorrow? I will be doing more streams like this, but I won't be streaming games, so I won't be doing my typical, YouTube gaming live stream. I don't know why this door is open. So I think there's no YouTube gaming announcements don't really happen at VidCon. It's not really a big gaming thing, so more of those things are like E3 and everything else like that. Who am I staying with? So I am running one of the houses here. So I've got Mississippi G. In theory, I have Narcos, but he's actually staying at a different place tonight. I have Kevman, who's a Google employee, Alam and Mighty, who's a Google employee, and then I have so Lady Kitty Unicorn ended up living with us, or staying with us, not living with us. Jose Angel, and I feel like I'm missing one. Kevman, Jose Angel, Alma Mighty, Lady Kitty Unicorn, Mississippi G, myself, Leif the Revenite. That's the other one I was forgetting. So we've got about 7 or 8 people who are staying here. It's also possible that Miju will be staying here with us tonight because she can't get into her Airbnb at the moment. So I said, if you can't get in, feel free to let me know. I will, we've got couches that are available, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah. Sorry, someone asked a question. Yeah, so, I mean, the official announcement is that sponsorships will be rolling out for everyone with 1,000 subs later this year. The biggest thing that we're working on before we roll that out more broadly is to get the features that we want to add to it working. So that's custom emoji, and there's maybe some other things, but One Shot Girl is not staying with me. Yeah, One Shot Girl, Quirky Dancer, Miju, Biolithic, and a couple other women are staying all together in one house. As well as, Lucifer, M0, Foxyzilla, Matus, Stat, Game Dojo in another house. So we have 3 different Airbnbs, and then we have Lalo, J Kraken, Rubsy, Pokecat are staying together. You have Brunswick, not Lasercat, Pokecat, yeah, okay. Lasercat or anything else like that. No, the YouTube party is probably still going on insofar as the people who are at the YouTube party did not come home. Yeah, so it's a complicated mess, as everything is. Is Chronodoc's accent really strong? I had not noticed Chronodoc's accent as being super strong, but I honestly, every time I've talked to him, it's been really noisy. So I don't know if this is an issue where, I'm not noticing the accent because it's just noisy, or if I'm not noticing the accent because it's not that strong. Am I scared walking around? I mean, I'm walking back and forth in front of my Airbnb so I don't wake anyone up. Oh yeah, Foxyzilla's accent's way stronger than Chronodox's, I agree. Am I going to Disneyland? No, I'm not a big Disneyland person. I did do Universal Studios when I was out in LA 2 weeks ago, which I found very interesting, but I'm not a big Disneyland person, so that's not a thing I'm going to be doing. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just walking this whole area. You're literally blocks away from Disney. The convention center's right here. This is all a very safe-ish. Disneyland, sorry, Disneyland is here. Disney World is far away. Yeah, there's cops everywhere, and there's just it's these, Yeah, the only problem Card plays is that all the Airbnbs, and this is true of ours as well as everybody else's, all the Airbnbs in this area like seems like there's like super noise complaints. If you're like talking in your living room after 10 a.m. too loud, your neighbors will call the cops on you because they all hate Airbnbs with a passion. And so we're all like scared to death of getting the cops called on us by our neighbors because like Anaheim has passed ridiculous noise restrictions that are like thousands of dollars of fees. And so like, yeah. So like that's also the case with our Airbnb. The restrictions are all the same. So I guess Anaheim has actually banned Airbnbs, but there's an 18-month grace period. So yeah, exactly, Gen 848. Yeah, so that's definitely what's been going on. Um, is that we're like you gotta be quiet. You gotta be quiet. So we're in a condo. So this whole like facility we're in here. Um, In this case, actually, I think it even turned off earlier. Like there was like a pool close thing that happened at 9. So Vidcon is a large video creation conference in Anaheim, California. It was created by the Vlog Brothers, who are kind of early YouTubers. So this is my Airbnb, by the way, which I can. There we go. So this is us here, and you can see that all these things look kind of the same, but the Airbnbs here are all kind of like attached. So, do I play video games in VidCon? Nah, don't play video games in VidCon. Um, know where I live now? You might. I mean, we're super close to the convention center. Like, if you look like like at the end of this little street, like that thing right there is the convention center garage. So I'm pretty sure that I got like the closest Airbnb you can get to the convention center. Um, so if we like walk out here along the sidewalk, um, like you go half a block down and you turn right and you're in the Airbnb. Well, I'm just walking back and forth. No, it's super cheap. So we're $1,000 for 4 nights: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. No, the people at my house are super asleep at the moment. So yeah, so we're $1,000 total, like not per person, for all 5 of us. So, well, I'm not very drunk. I had one drink, but we were pretty chill tonight. I mean, I was super tired, so I didn't want to like. Earlier, I drove over, so I didn't want to drink, and then I like whatever. So most of this drive has actually or walk has actually been me. Like I walked back from Blue's house, but I walked back. It's like a 3-minute Uber ride or like a 15-minute walk, and I just walked. Um, yeah, so I'm just gonna expense that like my hotel cap, like a hotel room in this area would cost the same as this Airbnb. Yeah, it's like $250 a night. So I'm I'm just going to pay for our Airbnb. Obviously, that is not the case for one that Matus is in, which was much more expensive. So yeah, now I just walked down the street here, and you can see the signage here that says Anaheim Convention Center, and this is the like transit drop off here. Now Anaheim Convention Center is huge. It's like a massive block. Um, Yeah, so like there's big empty streets, but that's because we're right near Disney and all this other stuff. So yeah, so I'm $1,000 for the entire stay. The Airbnb that Matus and Blue and everybody is in is much nicer, but the restrictions make a lot of the benefits of it much more difficult. If the cops are gonna if the neighbors are gonna call the cops on you if you even shout a little bit inside the house, then it makes it very frustrating to you can't have like a huge party. So I've got the Nexus 5X is what I'm streaming from currently, with a Zhuyan Smooth Sea gimbal. Anyway, so I think that gives you the update on VidCon. Overall, I do. Well, it wasn't a holiday gift 5X because my holiday gift 5X the screen cracked, so I ordered a new one, and I think the holiday gift 5Xs had a lot more that were in the big batch. So yeah. Yeah, so I think that's true of like all of the Airbnbs in this region is pretty. Yeah. Do I stream with a selfie stick? Yeah, so the 5Xs from the holiday batch were bad. Mine never got to be bad enough to. I broke it within like 4 months, and then I bought another one. So I'm really disappointed in the heat handling on this, but that's another story. Anyway, so yeah, well, thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate it. Is it cold here? No, I mean it's like mid 60s right now at night, but it was like 85 during the day. So super chat, super chat. I'm super chatting. And I got someone weird like driving up behind me here. All right, I'm gonna go. Goodbye.